Tuesday holiday.
Hello and welcome to the triumphant return of Tuesday, more like Newsday. We today will be reading two articles, which we'll get to in just a moment, but I want to address just a couple of things before that. The first is that we're looking at our learning goal, which is to determine two or more central ideas of a text and analyze their development over the course of that text, including how they interact and build on one another. I imagine that this scale will look familiar. A 4 means that you can identify the central idea or ideas, the evidence that the author uses to prove his or her point, and how the ideas build on one another. A 3 means that you can identify the central ideas of the evidence and that the author uses to prove his or her point. A 2 means that you can identify the central idea, and a 1 means that you are unsure of how to find the central idea. To receive 1.5 units for today's class, that's all capitals, class, you must highlight or underline the main idea, circle the evidence that the author uses to support his or her point, and box any other central ideas in the text. That's for 1 unit, and then for the other half unit, do the second article. The 4 skills that we're going to continue to work on today are to identify the topic, summarize in 1 sentence the article itself, find the first and last sentence of the article, and look at which ideas seem to be repeated throughout. Keep in mind that you'll also have vocab today for the first article. Today's article is titled, "Start an online post, then delete it? Many websites save it anyway." It was written on the 6th of February, 2019. So the article begins with, when a Facebook user starts to post a photo but decides not to and cancels, the social network still keeps a copy, saving a memory of something the person chose not to share or wanted instead to forget. That fact surprised users on December 14th when Facebook announced it had not just saved those photos, but, for up to 6 million users, inadvertently exposed them to a huge group of third-party apps. Yet it's not just Facebook holding on to the ghosts of our internet pasts. Many websites start sharing or saving the text, photos, or other information before we commit with a click of post, enter, or submit, and sometimes even after we choose to delete. Many online users have a general sense that they're being tracked online. A long-lasting footprint of browser cookies, website logins, and search histories that can follow them around the web. That data can generally help speed up web browsing and allow websites to more precisely track a person for purposes of search or advertising. But some websites go a step further by allowing the company to see what its users are currently typing. Live Agent, an online chat service that companies use for customer service, offers a real-time typing view of everything a customer writes before hitting send message, saying it will allow the representative to begin preparing a response quicker. Customers will appreciate your quick and precise answers, the company's website says. David Salick, an official at Quality Unit, which develops Live Agent, said companies get to choose whether they want to alert people that their typing is being watched, saying it's up to them to inform their users. Fewer people know about this special kind of undead data, discarded by the user, but still saved by the site, and experts say companies aren't doing enough to educate privacy-minded users already anxious about what they're leaving behind. People don't realize that apps can track not only what you post, but any activity on the app, said Tiffany Lee, a fellow at Yale Law School's Information Society Project. And if people don't know the risks, they haven't been well informed. That's not on the companies. This data can help designers and engineers pinpoint what might have caused a user to get distracted, discouraged, or annoyed enough not to finish their work. But it also opens the possibility that users will unthinkingly offer information they weren't ready to fully share in the belief that they were the only one looking on. It's hard to know how many websites keep this stuff saved, but Princeton University's researchers last year found that hundreds of websites recorded all their users' mouse movements and typed text, without telling the users they were doing so, in such detail that a site could replay everything that a user had said or done. This type of software was found on the websites of WordPress, Spotify, LiveJournal, and many others, though the presence of it didn't mean everything was being recorded, and websites had medical conditions, credit card details, passwords, and other sensitive information to scams and identity theft. Facebook said December 14th it had saved the photos that users abandoned before sending just in case users wanted to finish posting them later. And email services such as Google's Gmail and social media sites such as Twitter automatically save drafts of what people typed for later sending or deletion. But officials from Instagram and Twitter say they don't upload messages, photos, or videos onto their servers until they're posted. The drafts are saved locally onto a person's phone and are viewable only by them. Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, says it wasn't affected by the Facebook bug. Retail sites have also for years stored similar data on abandoned online shopping carts in which users say they wanted to buy something but ended up not finishing the purchase. The sites will often send reminder emails to nudge users into sealing the deal. "Why did you leave me?" says one such email from Black Milk, an online clothing store. Not every company stockpiles its users' data. Snapchat, the video sharing app in which most messages self-destruct, uploads content as an encrypted file to its servers once someone starts a message. But if that user has second thoughts before sending, the keys to decrypt it are never created, and the unsent message is deleted within 24 hours or less. But peeking at unposted messages is not new territory for many companies, including Facebook. In 2013, two workers there compiled data for 4 million users on what they called last-minute self-censorship. Status updates, posts, or comments that were written, then deleted. About 70% of monitored users they found had done so over a period of about 2 weeks, and that rate changed based on a lot of factors, including the makeup of their friend groups. But the focus of the research was all business. With too much self-censorship, they wrote, the social network, quote-unquote, loses value from the lack of content generation. Even if users read the privacy policies, a rarity since many are dreadfully long and technically complex, it's not always so clear that their unsent thoughts will be saved and stored. Facebook's data privacy says, quote-unquote, if we collect the content, communications, and other information you provide when you use our products, but doesn't specifically mention unsent photos or messages. Users can delete their accounts, but there's no way to go in and redelete what they've already deleted. We store data until it is no longer necessary to provide our services and Facebook products, or until your account is deleted, whichever comes first, the policy says. So we're back at your worksheet for today's article. And the first job is to identify the topic, which I think if we go back, we would find that it's about Facebook and other companies saving, data. But that is not your main idea. Your main idea is different than the main topic, or than the topic itself, and we will talk about that at the end of the sheet. Summarizing the story, I don't know that it's a value to me, for me to answer this for you, because it's kind of subjective, and that's up to you. The first and last sentence, I will go back and we will take a look at. I've highlighted the first sentence of the article, and it says, when Facebook users start to post a photo but decides not to and cancels it, the social network keeps a copy, saving a memory of something a person chooses not to share or wanted instead to forget. And the last sentence is actually a quote that says, we store data until it is no longer necessary to provide our services and Facebook products, or until your account is deleted, whichever comes first, the policy says. The second to last question here talks about the repeated ideas. What ideas show up oftentimes throughout the article? I think one of them is the topic of Facebook and what they do. The other repeated ideas might be, that other companies don't necessarily do what Facebook does as far as keeping data for so long. Um, and you can kind of look back and fill out up to at least three of the bullet points listed here. There are five. You can do five if you'd like, but at least three repeated ideas throughout the course of the article. And then what is the main idea? So we've kind of talked about a few things that seem to show up throughout, but what is the main idea? Look at the quotes, look at the repeated ideas, look at the topic and the first and last sentence, and all of those things are going to help you get to what the main idea of the article is. Once you've done that, you have concluded your unit for today. Remember that to earn the full unit and a half for the first article here, you also must complete the vocab, which is something that is stapled to this packet as well. Have a good day.